Well, it's a Sunday afternoon. I'm glad you stopped by. Welcome to the Jim of All Trades channel. Glad you're here. My name's Jim. I'm a Forex trader and a crypto trader. I trade mainly Litecoin. I use the Bitcoin charts as well for confirmation of what our Litecoin chart is looking like. And so I'm glad you're here. I want to invite you to subscribe to the channel if you would. Just hit the subscribe bell, tick that little bell, let you know the notifications. I put videos out every day, and hopefully you guys can enjoy watching them. I like to give trade calls as well, and daily updates on what the wave count is. I'm an Elliott wave trader. I use my knowledge of Elliott wave to see where we are in the count and to predict where we're headed for entry as well as exit points in the market. So I kind of give you a daily roadmap every day of where the charts are, what the charts are looking like. So I'm glad you're here. I want to also invite you to the Litecoin swing trading community. It's a community of traders that I created several years ago during the Bitcoin bull move, and we wanted to, when the bear market started actually, and just want to invite you here. We've got about 400 members now, and it's a good community. There's absolutely no spam, and it's a place for people to learn and get their feet wet trading. People that are converting from a hodling mindset to a trading mindset can come over here and learn how to read charts and just begin getting their feet wet and learning how to swing trade their positions. We mainly talk about Litecoin and Bitcoin in this group, but other cryptos are welcome as well. So I invite you here. Just find us on Facebook, Litecoin Swing Trading Community. Also have a Discord as well. It's the Jim of All Trades Discord. The link will be in the description. All right, without all being said, let's jump into the charts and see what we can find out. We have been, I'm going to start with Bitcoin because everything's going to rise and fall in Bitcoin right now. So let me just kind of back out and just show you what I'm thinking for Bitcoin. It looks like our major count here. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Let's see if I can get this to just a larger count, maybe a better color. There we go. So far, our major count for Bitcoin is we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're in the fifth wave. I'm expecting, following this fifth wave, I'm expecting a downward push. That's if this is correct. There's regardless, I believe we're going to be seeing a push down, whether this is the fifth wave or not. I think some people are putting the third wave up here. Time will tell. Time will tell. But right now, with the information that we have, this is looking like a fairly decent count. I'm going to get rid of the wave here so it's a little easier to see. You can see the numbers there. There you go. You notice that we have gone parabolic here. So I want you to just pay attention to what happens when we go parabolic. You see this one candle here that just went straight up. Well, then we went sideways for a while, and then it goes. When it gets to the parabolic level, it's got to correct and go sideways for a while before it can continue up. So understand that. And so basically, we should be expecting here fairly soon a correction to the downside plus some sideways action. Eventually, the more we zoom out, as if I go to the 2 day or the 1 day, the whole move looks parabolic. Okay. Um, Parabolic moves can't happen forever. Here was a parabolic move, and then we had a big downward correction, and you notice that it was a very large. It retraced over to the 60% level, and then it went sideways forever. It went with a downward bent, and now it's heading back up. So you ought to expect some sideways action here, but there's certainly some room for this thing to continue on. You can see the size. I'm just kind of comparing here. You can see the size of this correction here as compared to here. So we really do have room to continue to the upside strongly. It could mimic this. You can kind of see this action here related to what this might be. The only problem I have, and it's okay, is just the nature. If you just look at the rest of time, the nature of this parabolic move happened so quickly. it would feel to me that we need some more sideways action over a longer period of time before we just shoot up to 100,000 or whatever, what everybody's thinking. So I just want to be careful here that we don't get our expectations too high and out of control, but we just want to keep a good head about us and just trade what it gives us. I'm not going to be ultra bearish either. I'm not going to be this perennial bear as is always thinking we're heading down, we're heading down. But I also want to understand that the market doesn't go straight up forever. It will correct, but when it'll correct and how, we'll just have to be ready for what the market gives us. So let's zoom back in and just kind of let's do our very best to analyze what the market has given us and see what the potential next moves could be. Well, the price action right now is showing that we're going to continue steady move to the upside, because if we were going to correct down, you're going to see our initial push of correction to be very strong. Let me just go back here to the 1 day chart. You can see that when we had our correction, the initial push came down very hard and fast. Okay, so when we're gonna have a large correction, we're gonna see this thing come down hard, and so we need to be waiting and watching for that a continual sustained down move to the downside if we're going to have a correction. But right now we're looking good to the upside, at least for the short term. I want to go to the 4 hour. Well, we'll stay on the daily, for instance. I've wicked off. You can see these purple lines that I've put on here. These are important structure points that we need to pay attention to. But let me just say that if we pass this $11,700 mark that I have, the next one that we have is right up here. Um, Guys, that's $17,000, and the market makers tend to go to the next one if they break substantially through. You can see how we broke substantially through this one as if it was butter and nothing to it, and then we're that means we should probably see just a bit of a down correction and a continued push to the upside here. We're probably gonna wick through it. Um, I guess I can. We got one right here that's not as strong of a section, but I can at least maybe place a mark there. But I guess what you just have to understand is that when the market makers push through a particular price level, they're heading to the next one. Okay, so we have another one here at 12.8, and then we really don't have anything else, any other major structure. I mean, I guess we've got one here at 14,000. But major structure is at 17,000. So I guess I'll wick off that 14,000 one as well. There we go, and that'll just kind of give us some targets along the way to be hitting. But we really need to be thinking. The market is moving so strongly to the upside that we want to be careful. We don't miss out on the up that we are being given. Okay. So anyway, yeah, I'm kind of targeting for my next this 11,700 mark. I want to watch what happens when price gets there to see what's going on. Now, what I'm seeing here in this wave as I just kind of look at it. Let me go back here. Um, just talking out loud with you, thinking about what's going on. As I just look at this wave here, I mean, there's a clear 1, 2. Then we've got a potential 3, 4, 5, or this might be 1, 2. This whole thing is 3. We need to be coming down for 4 eventually, and then going up for the fifth wave. Excuse me. Of the fifth. So this fifth wave, according to Elliott wave rules, is going to have 5 subwaves. Okay, this looks very 5 wave-ish, doesn't it? But you have to remember that the third wave is often the biggest wave, and has you know it'll have 5 waves that you can easily subcount, and they'll be larger. Let me zoom in here to the 2 hour chart, and let's just take a peek at this fifth wave and see what we can make of a count here. Even if I don't know what the count is up to this point, where the 3 delineates, um, you know, here, yeah, there we go. That should be there. Sorry. where the 3 is delineated down here to the 4. Even if we're not certain of our count, we can look at this current thing. It's okay. We need to see 5 subwaves in it. So we've got to clear 1, 2, and then we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's the third wave. Um, so that would be a 1, 2, 3, 4. It's really a shallow 4, and this could be the fifth wave. So we might see our final push up here to this 11,700 before we see a correction, something to this effect here. So a larger or a largish correction. And that's not, that's a good substantial correction to the downside. So we want to be aware of that as a potential. Let me see if I can get rid of that now. All right, so yeah, we're looking like we got a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Let's throw the fibs on that and see what the fibs measure. Um, the third wave generally comes to the 1618 or the 2618, and you can see how this third wave. I don't know if you can see that on the screen very well or not, but you can see how this third wave right here came to the 2618 right to the tick. So that's looking like a very good third wave to mark off on our sub count here. So let me tick this off right here. 4 and 5 somewhere up here. Let me change the size of that guy. Let's go down to um, minuet here. I don't like minuet. Let's what's a good one? Sub minuet. No. Minute. I don't like. There we go. Let's just use primary. We'll use red as our sub count numbers. There we go. And so our larger count here is 4. Then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 waves going up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like we're going to be heading up for the fifth wave at some point. This 4 wave could be coming down a little lower. So what we need to do now is say, okay, what could this wave be and be making right now? Okay, so let's take a peek at this current wave in the Bitcoin and see what we can see. Zooming into the 15-minute chart here. I want to show you how the fibs just kind of help us see what's going on. First off, our 1-2 wave, not so clear. Don't have a very clear. Actually, this is probably, yeah. There we go. Yeah, I'm just making sure we got the top of the 3 correct. So it's really hard to see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This might be the 1, 2 right here. If that's the case, let's see what the fibs look like. It's just not a clear delineation of a wave here. So it's kind of hard to tell what we have. We also have a wave that has just gone straight up. It didn't, yeah, just it's past even the 3618. So yeah, it's hard to see. This might be finished. This might be a finished wave 5 here. That's a potential. I want you guys to be aware of it. Although the way price action is, I'm not certain of that. But let me get rid of this line here. Get rid of this line here because these are unnecessary. They were old lines I was just testing things out with. I like to draw trend lines as things are being made. Sometimes those trend lines help us to see what's going on. For instance, you can kind of see a trend line being formed right there. It just kind of helps us see what the market might be doing and reacting to. When I say the market, I mean us. I mean people trading this market. Okay, we're part of the market, and so we see those trend lines. And the question is, are they large enough trends or lines to for you to see and to make your decisions on for buys and sells off of? Now, we do have this move to the downside here, this latest move right after we hit our high of 11,200. We hit 11,211, something like that. We had this big move to the downside, so that could take a couple of forms. Okay, this might be an ABC. This might be ABC, and that's done. And then we're going up for 1, 2. We're making the 3, 4, 5 of this final wave. That's a potential. and we want to be mindful of that. And so how do we know what's going on? Well, if this is complete, if this correction is complete, then we ought to be able to throw our fibs here, and we've got a 1-2 wave, okay? Or that could be an AB wave, but this is 1-2. You can see how this came up to the 1-to-1 extension, and then it's having a reaction there. We hit it, and then we bounced off, and now we're kind of testing it again. We say, okay, is it going to continue to go up, or is it going to bounce off of that for a final wave? A couple of things you need to note, and I've said in my previous videos, you can go back and look at them. But the 1-to-1 extension, or the 1-2-7-6, these are the Fibonacci extensions from the 1-2 or the AB that are indicative of a C wave. Okay, so when price bounces off the 1-to-1 extension or the 1-2-7-6, that would be indicative of an ABC. Okay, now why do we say that? Because an ABC looks very similar to a to a 1-2-3. Let me get the wave on that so you can see it. Okay, if you see this ABC, this looks just like 1-2-3. The difference between an ABC and a 1-2-3 is the extension of this third wave. The extension of a third wave generally retraces up to the 1-6-1-8. So when you have a price going up to the 1-6-1-8, that's indicative of a three wave, which would indicate a pullback for a 4 and then further upside with a 5, and that helps you trade that. Okay, whereas when you have price bouncing off of the 1-to-1 extension or the 1-2-7-6, that's indicative of a C wave. Now, what do we know after a C wave? That means this is corrective. That means this is against the trend. That means the next move is going to be to the downside. And so these extensions help us to predict and understand which direction the market's going to move, especially once we see reaction. So if we see a strong reaction off of this 1-2-7-6, we can expect more downside. What would that downside look like? Well, it should look like 5 waves to the downside. It should be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, something like that. Okay, and that would be what that would be basically forming would be a large A. This would be the B wave, and then followed by the C wave, and basically we would have this would be a 3-3-5 pattern of an ABC. And so, yeah, the C wave always has 5 waves, okay? And so this is what we would be expecting and looking at. So the fib extensions really help us to identify, okay, or predict, okay, which way is the market heading temporarily. So you need to learn how to use your fibs on your chart. And so what I've done and what I do is I keep my fibs right here. This last 1-2 wave or this AB wave, whatever it is, I've got the fibs on there, okay, and I'm watching price. So let me zoom in a little bit on my chart here just so you can see it a little bit better. Zoom in closely. And you can see how price has come up to the 1-to-1 extension, and there's reaction here. There's pausing here. There's stopping here. Okay, if I showed you on the 5-minute chart, you'd see how you can see that a little bit even more delineated. We came up and we bounced off of it pretty hard, and now we've come back up to it. Chances are this wave is going to continue. This could continue on down. This could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beginning of our fifth of our 5 waves to the downside. Why do I yawn every video? I'm just going to call me the yawner. I don't know. But anyway, let me keep going. That's the life of a trader. I have such late hours at night. I have a day job that I'm a contractor, a remodeler. I'm also a pastor. I starting a church where I am. I'm just busy, so busy, and I don't get tons of sleep, and so that's probably why I'm always yawning. So, anyway, let me just keep talking with you and see if we can keep going. So yeah, so here's what I'm expecting. Here's what I'm looking for. Here's what I want to see, or here's what I'm keeping an eye on. So I want to watch this. This looks like a good 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so this fifth wave is really indicative of really an ABC. And so if price comes up here to the 1-2-7-6, or even here stops here, and it looks like it's going to continue on. That's what the price looks like it's doing right now. It looks like it's going to head on up to the 1-2-7-6, but chances are with this wave structure, really looks like we're going to get a bounce off this 1-2-7-6 if we don't get the bounce here. um, and we're heading down. That's really kind of my working hypothesis right now. I just think we need some more correction, some more sideways movement. But you can see how price has been pushing up pretty hard here for the last, I don't know, 45 to 50 minutes to an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, I guess. It's been about 2 hours of movement like this, and you can see even now as we're watching on the chart this push to the upside. But you've got to be careful, and you got to say, oh no, price. See, a lot of people want to FOMO in here. They want to jump in because price is starting to move fast. Well, that doesn't mean price is going to continue on. Often the case is price moves up fast and then we see a fast reaction to the downside. So be careful. Don't FOMO in necessarily. Now, if we see price coming on up here to the 1618, that doesn't mean to FOMO in either. It just means look for a retrace on the. If price gets up here to the 1618, chances are we are going higher. We will have broken the high, and we are going up for a third wave. So this is not an ABC, but rather it's a 1, 2, 3 wave. And that third wave, we'll see a correction for the fourth wave. And if you want to trade, that's where you're going to get in. You want to get in on that fourth wave. So what would that look like if that's the case? So if this is a 1, 2, 3, this is what we're looking at. 1, 2, and then the third wave is going to come up here to the 1618 or higher. Could go up to the 2618, so be careful. Then the four wave is going to come on down, and then we're going to trade that up for the fifth wave. Okay, so and that fifth wave would and that would complete our. Let me see if I can move this guy in the right location. There we go. I think eventually we are headed up to this mark here. Now, we might be heading here in the third wave to the 2618. We got to be mindful of that. A lot of parabolic moves here in Bitcoin. So that means we could be heading up here to a double top with a fifth wave or just to peak it. Who knows what we're going to get. So let's be mindful of that as well. So that's a potential shape as well. So here we go. I'm glad I got this on video. We've got price pushing up here to the 1276. Chances are we're going to see a good reaction off of that to the downside. So if we had a downside movement from here, what would that look like? Again, this is what Elliott wave does. We look at the potential scenarios and we prepare for them. What might we be seeing? Okay, this would be and basically in well, I think I need a new mouse or something. A This would be an A, B, and a C wave here stopping somewhere around the 276, and that means we're going to be looking for 5 waves to the downside. Okay, if that's the case, let's throw the fibs on that. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit here so we can see it a little bit better. There we go. You can kind of see a bigger picture here. So if that's the case, the fibs to the downside would look something like this. A, B, C, like that. We'd be looking to a downside of 10,000, basically right down a correction down here to the $10,000 mark, or just going through it. That's a potential. So it's 10,093 is what that's showing right there. So yeah, there's a potential of downside, and this would be a good ABC pattern. Let me just show you that count from the larger perspective. That would be A making B, coming down for C, like that. Okay, so there's a potential. Let's watch for that in Bitcoin, and then if that's the case here, let me just kind of zoom out. You can kind of see that in context. So this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 of the fifth wave of the fifth wave. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I like that at all. That delineation. I'm not sure. Um, yeah, it's tough one. This again. Don't forget, this could be the top of 3. I like this better actually. If we came down to the 10, and that would be the 4. So this correction would be a nice 4 wave if we get a reaction off that 1276, and then yeah, I really like that a lot better. That looks a lot more proportional. Yeah, guys, I'm liking that a lot better. Um, that's looking so much more proportional. So we also could be seeing the top of the three wave, and then we need a correction down to the four. So we'll see. If we break this high, this could be the top of a three wave. And then we're heading down for four to a correction of about 10,000, and then heading up for five. So there's some potentials to watch for. Let me zoom back in because we just got some price action reaction off that 1276 or just close to it. Let's kind of show you here. I just caught it on camera, and I just want to show you what that's looking like. So let's get the fibs on here. Boom, boom. You can see how we kind of came up and had a reaction. That's kind of a front run on the 1276. If price continues on down, the way price action is looking, my gut's telling me we're going to make that C leg down to the 10,000 here. This is the top of three, but hey, I could be wrong on that. Always could be wrong. Want to be mindful of that. Okay. All right. So yeah, Elliott wave isn't about getting it right. It's about saying, okay, what are some likely price paths for Bitcoin and Litecoin. So hope that look at Bitcoin is helpful to you in thinking about the future and what we have going on. So let me just put some closure on what I'm looking at right now. Um, I'm kind of looking like our fifth wave is going to come up here to the 12,800, about 13,000. Probably might be a good target. Let me throw some fibs on that as well, just to get a better target. Let me get this fib off of here. If that's the case, if my count is right up to this point, and the three wave comes up, and this is the top of three, this would be making four. If that's the case, if it does something like that, then we would be looking at yeah, 12,900 to 12,304. It really all depends on where this four comes down to. Um, we'll have to wait and see if it's a shallow four or whatever. So, but this upper price target might be a real potential as a target. So we'll have to wait and see what it gives us. But that certainly does look a lot more proportional if we just zoom out and see the whole count as it sits. Um, Yeah, I like the look of that. That's not so bad. One, two, three, four, and then the five waves here. So yeah, uh, let's watch that. Let's see what we get. Let me change this here. Just let's go to micro. That's better. I like it better. Okay, excellent, excellent. Okay, yeah, it looks like we got to push to the downside here, right here. Oh yeah, we got a lot of price oscillation right here. There's reacting here going on for sure. Traders are reacting at this place, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. All right, so what does that mean for Bitcoin? Well, remember, if I mean, excuse me, Litecoin. What does that mean for Litecoin? If prices are going up for Bitcoin, that means price is going to be going up for Litecoin most likely, especially if it moves up hard. If price is going down for Bitcoin, we need to see a downward movement. So excuse me, let's check the Litecoin price and see what's going on. Now, again, I talked yesterday or last night in the Saturday night edition of this show, whatever you want to call it. I said, price action is looking awful choppy. There's all kinds of candles here that are wicking down to the up and to the downside, and we need to be careful of market maker shenanigans. You can see the normal price movement is there's oscillation, big candle, oscillation, big candle, oscillation, big candle. Well, we really haven't had any big candles here. We got we've got price oscillation here, but then there's just nothing, no big moves to the upside. And so what we've had are fake outs to the upside, big candles, and then they'll come right back at you. And so we got to be careful there. Yep, here we go. We're moving through it now. Bitcoin. I'm just looking at price. It's hard to look at price and talk about this. I'm watching for a Litecoin trade as well. So anyway, so our Litecoin trade to the upside is still looking pretty good. Going out to the 4-hour chart here just to make this a little bit more contextual. Um, Let me get my moving average off my chart just so it clears it up just a little bit. There we go. Hope that helps the way it looks. So we got our fibs here. We got a 1-2 wave. So we're making the 3 wave, and that 3 wave should be coming up here to 152 to 153 in that ballpark. Let me make sure I got it right on the tick here. Yeah, it's looking good. So 152 is my intermediate target here. 1, 2, and then 3. So we're looking for an upside to to that 152 mark. You can see a trend line I have here. That's an intermediate trend line that seems to be holding price. If price breaks here, we should look for support down here on this trend line. I don't think that that's going to move there. That wave shape wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Looks like we're going to have upside from this point. But again, if Bitcoin gets downside here off of that 1276, then we certainly could get that downside down to this place. If that's the case, we got an ending diagonal is what we're going to be having. This would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. We'd be making an ending diagonal. Um, I, my brain isn't seeing that pattern right now. I've watched charts so long. I just have kind of a I don't know, an intuition as to where price is headed. Just looking at the chart, and this just needs to come up right here to finish out this wave. So this is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a good three wave. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're not quite done with this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got 1, 2, 3 up here, 4, 5. That would finish us up. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. So yeah, I'm expecting some upside right here. If you're not in a trade, this is a pretty good entry point where we are right in the charts. Your stop loss would be just right underneath this last low of 138.86. You should probably place your stop loss below that, 138.50, something like that, so we don't get because if you get a retrade, if we break this trend line here, most likely we're coming down to this trend line here, some other place of support, and then we've got support and structure right here. So we want to be mindful of that as well. Okay. Let me just take a peek here at Bitcoin here. We're still moving up here. Let me get my fibs back on here so I can get a frame of reference. This is what I do, guys. I'll throw the fibs on there and then just watch. Watch and see what price does at the different fib levels. Okay? All right. So as we keep going, yeah, I'm thinking we've got room for the upside. So our trade is still looking good. Our sub count of wave 3. Let's do a sub count here. Let me put a target box up here just so we can. Yep, there we go. If you hear my kids playing in the background there and they're wrestling, so sorry for the. Yeah, I hope it's not distracting here. All right, let me get these fibs off there and see what we can see here as far as price target is concerned for the third wave. Um, we're looking for one, two, looking for a third wave, fourth wave, fifth wave, um, something like that. Um, let's see here. So let's throw the fibs on here. Just measure and see where we think price is going. We got a 1, 2 of the third wave here. So I'm measuring the third wave in general here. So the third wave, man, 1, 2. The third wave, I want to come up here. It's just not looking very good for that. Unless we just get a pump candle coming soon. Huh. Man, this has been a tough one for me. I'll tell you what. It's been a very, very, very tough one. We might be having this third wave be coming up here to this area. Might get an extended third wave here, guys. That's looks like that's what we're gonna get. So let's look at that potential here. So right now we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's our third wave of the third wave. Need a different color, need a different size. Let's do purple. Let's do submicro. There we go. Let me show the wave on that one. So that would be the third wave of the third wave. That would put our 4 here. And that would get our target up to 1. Yeah, I like that better, guys. I just like the way that's looking better. So let me show the wave here. There we go. So you can see the sub count of this third wave that we're making. 1, 2. We're still making the third wave of the third wave. So yeah, my target for that is looking up here somewhere. Then we're going to have a correction. And then, yeah, that's looking more like this. Again, all this is potential. It's conjecture. We'll have to see what the market actually gives us, but based on what the market has given us, this looks like a 1-2-1-2. Okay, and 1-2-1-2 are very very strong. Show a lot of when you get a 1-2-1-2, it shows a lot of strength in the market. That means there's strength to the upside. Okay, so let's go back, throw the fibs on it. What would be an extended third wave target here if we get an extended third wave on off the 1-2, 1-2? Extended third wave up here could be up here to the 161 the 2618 $168. I mean, so this thing, guys, could come up to this level right here. That means we might be pushing up here to 155 here, 157, something like that, and then coming down and then going up and finishing. That could be what we get. um, so yeah, we'll have to wait and see what the market gives us. But I'm just, I'm usually pretty cautious and pretty bearish in general. I'm not a perennial bear for sure, but just I learned to trade in the bear market, and so I just tend to. Bear markets are what I know. I'm having a hard time learning this bull market. So yeah, as far as this bull market's concerned, we have some really strong moves to the upside. I'm kind of seeing this is what we're going to get. So uh, here's how you trade safely through that. So what are all our trade indications here? This is what the market looks like it's given us. It looks very strong to the upside. If you enter here and I mean, if you pulled out on this wick, you're wondering what's going on. Uh, I think we're safe to enter here, right where we are. Put your stops under the last low, about 138, because then we'd be coming down. I don't see that as a shape that's going to happen. I see upside is what I see. That doesn't mean we're going up. It just means that's what I'm seeing. I do have a potential count to the downside if we get this. If we get the Bitcoin move to the downside, like I'm telling you, we might get. Then I can see a potential for this being a flat ABC. So let me explain to you, I guess, while this all looks to the upside, let me now play the devil's advocate and show you what the downside movement would be. Okay, so I'm going to clear the chart a little bit, and again, as Elliott wave traders, I want you to be prepared for all scenarios. Okay, and so let's look at what it could be if this is to the downside. This could be a flat correction. This would be what's called an expanded flat. An expanded flat basically is where the B wave goes higher than the last high, but it's still corrective. So this ABC would look something like this. A B would be up here, okay, and we might even go a little bit higher, and then C would come down. And this is kind of a flat correction. It's called an expanded flat, okay, and that would be indicative of a four wave for sure. So this would be, this could be a 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and then we're going up for 5 still. Excuse me. Oh, yeah. Excuse me. Let me go back out to the 6 hour to see that a little bit better. So yeah, we might have 1, 2, 3 expanded flat for a 4, and then go up for 5 here to my target of 180. Still looking at 180 as a potential target as well. So that is a potential downside, and I want to show you what the fibs look like if that's the case. Um, let's get that off of there. Let's go back and zoom in a little bit. Um, so this would basically be an ABC, or it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could be 5 waves. Could be, I could see both delineations there. So that's could be ABC, or this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's corrective nonetheless. And then this would be a big A. That's 5 waves. B, 3 waves, and then a C to the upside. Okay, and we'd need to see 5 waves there. This actually might be an ABC as well. This might be a 333 X wave or something like that. Um, so yeah, let me throw the fibs on that and show you what that would look like. That would be um, See how we came up to the 1-to-1 extension, and we wicked up to the 1276. We could have a final push up to the 1276, or we've already done it and we're on our way down. So be careful here. So yeah, this is why we trade with stops. While I can see with a wave shape, I can see an upside movement. This is so choppy and it's not motive. You don't see these big candles. It's so choppy. It lends me to feel like it could be corrective as well. And because it's corrective, then this looks like a 535 right there, which yeah. So this could be an ABC there. So ABC, 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 333. That could be what we have. That means we're on our way down here. So that would correlate with a down movement here from this 1-to-1 extension. You can see how Bitcoin has not exceeded that 1-to-1 extension yet. 11,000 is still hovering around that 1-to-1. If we get a down push from here or from the 1276, we would see a down push here as well. Okay, and we would be coming down. What would that be? Usually it would be a 1-to-1 extension of this here. So if we put the fibs on that, it would be something like this. We'd be looking to come down to 127.67 in that ballpark, looking at a 1-to-1 there. We could come down to 122 as well. Yawns. Okay, whatever. I'm trying not to worry about them too much, but yeah, we could come down to 127 or to 121. 122 mark. So yeah, there's our downside possibility as well. So how do you protect yourself from that downside? If you enter into a trade here expecting upside, then you just put your stops right under this low. It'll stop you out. You might lose a little bit, but you're gonna hold your cash for these downside targets. And these downside targets, you'll end up having more Litecoin than you would if you held. So if you tried to hold through all of this and price comes down and then it comes back up and you held, sure you didn't lose any money, but you would have the same amount of coins. Let's just hypothetical here. If you had 50 coins here and you ended up just holding a bad position all the way down until it came back to you, you say, yeah, you didn't lose any money. That's right, you didn't lose any money. But what happened is that you don't have any other coins. But uh, let's just say you have 50 coins here, and you take a $100 loss here with your stop loss here, but price ends up coming down. Let's see how that's 139, and it came down to the 129. So there's $10. Okay, so that's $10 swing. 50 coins, you have saved yourself $500. So now you have $500 to do something with, right? You've got $500 to buy more coins. So $500 that buys you another 4 coins. You actually would, by cutting your trade and re-entering down here, you're gonna actually, by the time price gets up here, you're gonna have 4 more coins than you would have had if you just held. And so this is why we cut trades and re-enter at better entry points. So just think about that. Don't be afraid to cut your trades at stop losses to enter in later. At the end of the day, it's better for you to cut the trade at a small loss at the beginning and then to buy back at a cheaper price. You're going to end up having more coins than if you just holding through a bad position. Okay, and you'll also have better psychology. Man, you cut that trade, there's so much freedom in your psychology. You're not scared, you're not worried. You're like, yeah, price go on down. You're rooting for it to go down because you want that discount, because you know that you're gonna, for every dollar it goes down, there's $50 you've gained. So if it goes down a dollar, even though you lost, so here's how you can think about that as well. Basically, you cut a trade, let's say at a $100 loss, because it went down. Your stop loss was $2 shorter than when you bought. Let's just pretend. And so you take a $100 loss there. Well, if price goes down $2 from there, you have now made your money back. Assuming you get in at that price, you made your loss back. And so really, you've got to understand this. You got to help understand that. So as you're working through your psychology and as you're trading, you can deal with that, okay? Because part of people have a hard time cutting their trades, and so I can't take a loss, I can't take a loss, and they end up just losing more and more and more. So hope is always a bad thing. Hoping price is going to come back, it's never good for trading. So you got to get rid of fear, greed, and hope. Okay. All right. I have spent. This has been an extended edition. I'm having a kind of a chill day, enjoying the day on this Sunday. We've got kind of a rainy day where we are, but I've enjoyed the day with my church, and just now looking at price here, and wanted to just do a little teaching and extended look at BTC and LTC as well. Hope that video has been helpful to you. Hope you watched the whole thing. If you made it through the whole thing, hey, let me know. Let me know about it. Remember, comments really help my channel, and so help me grow the channel. That'd be great. You say, Jim, how can I help you? Well, you like and subscribe and share comments every video, even if it's just cheers or thanks or whatever. The algorithms on YouTube just kind of see those, and they put the video out for more and more people to see. And the more people see it, the more people subscribe, and the more people subscribe, eventually, I can monetize the channel, and and then nobody has to feel bad for all the time I might be taking for these videos or whatever. I'm really enjoying it, and I hope you are too. But ultimately, you're monetizing the channel. You can suffer through a little 5 second video, commercial to watch these, and I can make a little bit of extra money to benefit my family as well as I take the time to do this. That's always the goal with the channel, just to have some fun with it as well. It's a good hobby as well. So anyway, hey, I hope you guys have a fantastic Sunday. Don't forget to like and subscribe, share comments, and all that jazz. And hope to see you around the swing trading community in Facebook. You guys have a fantastic, fantastic day. Talk to you later.